Okay, yep, we're good to go. All right, I've tested the preview. The preview looks good. We're good to go here, folks. So welcome to the build. It really looks a lot different than your class saw last time. I'm gonna pin this so I can get a better idea of what you're seeing. I can still see the chat. And so what we have here is quite a different scenario than you had before. So let me move some pieces around and then we'll talk about what we're seeing here. So let me zoom out. I think that's about as far out as I can go. And we had wall 1B here. Wall 1B was down here in this space. And so let me go ahead and grab that. The finish of wall 1B, I'm going to, it's step-by-step illustrated in the video that I'll be posting soon. So if you want to watch that, you're more than welcome to. But I'm just going to point out what was happening here. We had the cap plates installed. That was our last piece that we needed to do. The cap plate is here and here. And so that was after step 8, we had left these fire blocks out, these two pieces. So again, step 8 says, cut and nail in all the fire blocks except the fire blocks on the left end of the wall. Nail that fire block after you have spliced in walls 1A and 1B together. That would mean that we would have to have both walls 1A and 1B built. So we go on to the next step. Step 9, cut the two pieces of the cap plate so that you see on wall 1B and nail them to the top plate. The rest of the cap plate will be nailed on after walls 1A and 1B are spliced together. At this point, wall 1B is complete. Store it in a safe place. So we're just going to go here and here, and I'm going to talk about the material selection for those two. So let me scoot the board over. Yes. Okay, so again, step 9, cap plate. Here's where it says cap plate. Our arrow goes here and our arrow goes here. So I can tell you right now, to stay out of some trouble, if you have any nails that are going in down at an angle here, I had one here, and then I needed to pop the cap plate off after I nailed it on. So this is a time where you have to be aware of all the nails that were in your piece. So I had one here. I think I had about 6. I had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I had 2 diagonal ones in the top. Now, you have to take the diagonal ones out right now. It's really messy, and I made that mistake on the video, and I don't mind making mistakes as long as I learn from them. So this is how I'm trying to help you learn from my mistakes. If you have any nails going down and diagonally here or here underneath the cap plates where we're going to be putting those, then you need to take those out right now. The next thing is you can take a piece of the scale 8-footer, and these are 5 5/8 if you're checking, and we can put one here. We would cut one, we would measure it. We would measure it to this piece here, and then we would make a little mark. I'm just going to make a mark on it for fun. Okay, so we made a mark on that and have that. And then I brought out this little W to use as like a little piece to cut on top of some little keychains that I've been printing out for you when we get back into person. But then I've had a lot of good luck cutting with the razor blade. Be very careful, it's very sharp, but just cut on the line. And then the nails for this cap plate, let me align this better. Okay, that's better. The nails for it, I put a nail in here going at that angle, and I put another nail going here at this angle. So that's how I held the small cap plate on. Okay, so 2 nails, one from there and one from there. And then over here, I put them there and there. And but this piece is longer. This piece I had to get out of, it was the other bundle. And so it was this bundle here. Yeah, that's totally it. Okay, so this bundle here is what we use for this cap plate. And so I'm going to measure this to show you. This is 9.5 inches, so use your 9.5 inch bundle. And I like to push out, just push out one. Just push it. I just push it from the bottom with this finger here. I push it with this finger up, and then I can pull one out. This one's super tight in there, so I'm kind of crushing it. I'm going to switch to a different one. I'm going to push it out from the bottom and then pull one out. Okay, so then we would just pull one of these 9.5 inches out and then use that for the top. Again, that's 9.5. Okay. And then when you have that piece, I'm going to pull out the piece right here. I got 2 for 2, so I'm just going to put the extra one back for now. And then that's the piece you cut here for this cap plate. And then you mark it. Mark it right here. Then you would cut it on that line. Cut it. And then you would nail it. And then let me show you the nailing area here and here. So I put the nails in diagonally. Like that. Okay. So once you have both cap plates in, then you're really ready to remove this wall. Be so careful. Be as careful as you are when you're handling something very delicate like an egg or something that could get crushed very easily. If I remember correctly, the nails were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I did 6 nails, and then gently begin to just wiggle it a little bit. Just wiggle it, and you might find that you have more nails in there. So be very careful. If you crush this, you're going to need to rebuild your portion, and you could waste some of your lumber. So that's the worry that I have. And it was so delicate. I could feel it really flexing on me when I was picking it up. So if you flex this too much, it's going to break. So just be careful as you gently lift it up and get it off the paper. Now it says in the next step, at this point, wall 1B is complete, store it in a safe place. So I'm ready to store it in a safe place. I'm going to take it out and put it in my box. Nice and flat. And then this is the part where I'm going to have to reorient my workspace. So the workspace here is shifting to this top corner. So down here, it's a little bit loose, right? Because the foam isn't long enough, but that's okay. I'm going to put in 1, so 2, 4, 6 nails. So I'm going to put in a nail here, here, and here. Also, So basically at both corners and the center, and I'm putting them in at a diagonal. The diagonal really helps the nail stick into the foam and not come out when we're working on this. You want the paper, sheet 2, to be at the upper corner, the upper left-hand corner. So that's where you're trying to align it to as you nail down the paper nice and flat, okay? Moving over here to this wall 1A section is what happens next. 10, step 10, build wall 1A following the following instructions, following the above instructions. Use 2x4 lumber 14 inches long to cut the sole and top plates. So let's start with the sole plate and the top plate. We always start with those two first, 1 and 2, and when those are done, then we add 3 and 4, and we build our perimeter of our next wall segment. Eventually, this will be joined onto this side over here. So that's why this one, it has a shared stud. Okay, I'm not putting that in because it's really hard to nail this, so I'm going to wait until I'm putting it together to put that one in. I think it will be easier when there's two sides to it. Okay, how are we looking? How are we looking on this? And do people need a little bit more time before we start more on wall 1A? So I'm looking for some feedback in the chat on if we're ready to start 1A, build, or if you still have questions on removing wall 1B and setting up your work surface. I'm looking at the chat. Shout it out or type it out. Okay. Mr. Rocha says he's still on 1B, but continue. And Emmanuel says he's still working. Oh, but people are agreeing I should just continue with the build and then they'll catch up later. Okay. Okay, great. I'm going to continue the build now, and thank you for your feedback. And let's just go through an overview of why we removed this wall. You're putting your arms and you're working in this space, and if that was still in your way, you might crush it or break your wall 1B. Now, so I'm shifting everything over here so we fill up our screen nicely. I'm trying to adjust it so I give you the most view that you can have here. Okay, so right now we're on step 10. Build wall 1A following the above instructions. So everything that we've learned so far, we're going to use for our new wall 1A. Use a 2x4 lumber 14 inches long to cut the sole and top plates. So let's see what that looks like. I'm going to go grab those. 14 inches. I'm checking with the tape measure so I can show you that those are 10s, those are not in order. Okay. The 14-inch bundle is really long. Let's see if I can fit that in frame. 14-inch. Okay, so you would just need one of those. And so I'll take one of those out. And then I know I already have it in there, but this is the way that I set it up. And I'd like to talk about it really quickly, so I'm going to zoom in here and show you why we're using the long one. When you align this piece, if you were trying to use the 8-footer, it would just be this little bit short. Okay, so the whole reason we're using the big piece is because we need it just to be a little bit longer. Okay, So I'm going to zoom out now. Oops, zoom out. And so we start by putting the piece right here on your plans, going over here, and then you make your mark right here. I'm going to mark this one up. Marking it's not a problem. Okay, I'm going to follow that around. I'm not going to cut this one, but I already cut it, but that's the mark we want. We want to cut it right there. So then you would put it on a little piece of wood or a little piece of or the miter box, and you can use the razor blade to push down right there, pop, and you would pop and you would cut it right there, and that would be the one that goes there. We do the same thing for the top, and we can get them both out of one of these 14-inch pieces. Okay, step 10. Once we get it out of there, then we're ready to attach it. So I've successfully attached these pieces with 2 nails here, 1, 2, 3, 4, around the edges, and we get this one in first, and we get this one in second. Okay, those are your first 2 moves here. Okay, so after you do that, then you get your bundle of 8-footers. The 8-footers I think are 5 5/8. Yeah, they're 5 5/8 pieces. Okay, so you take a couple of those. How many? That's a good question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You'll need at least 7 to get going here. And of course you'll need some more when we're cutting these other support pieces, but 7 to get you started. Okay? I see a question here. Is the screen blurry? I can hit autofocus, but it looks pretty clear to me. It may be your settings. For sure, for sure. I'm going to pause right now while we wait for the student to come back. And I think the doc cam is going at 720p, and I for sure am forcing it. Let me double check. I thought I was forcing it to run on 720p, so I'm just going to double check my video settings to make sure that they're high. Yes, send resolution 720p. So we are good to go. Blurry too, huh? Did it fix it going in and out? Okay, well, I hope it did fix it. I will be posting a clear version of this video later as soon as it's compressed, and then it looks really clear, the one I'm recording. So that's my hope, that if people are having bandwidth issues or technology issues, that they can then watch it later, and then it will be nice and clear. So mostly this is just about questions about the build. If you have any questions, just go ahead and type it out. Okay, here we go. Type it out or shout it out. Okay, so these 2 pieces, putting these in, you'll feel that they're a little tight. Okay, this is the same situation that we ran into with the other wall. It's just a little tight on these pieces. So that's where your sandpaper comes in. So get your sandpaper ready. You're going to need that. And I want to put another piece right here, right next to it. So I can't put it in, it's too tight. So I'm going to hold it down and drag it. That's it, just a little bit. Don't get carried away. Still just ever so slightly tight. Drag it just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little. Still a little tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, back and forth. Boom, drops right in. Wow, that's nice. That went right in there. So I'm very happy with my sanding on that. And now I can start to put some more nails in. I ran out, so I'm going to take a few out of the bag. I like to take a pinch of nails out. And I try not to pinch it too hard because they'll get stuck in my finger. So I take a pinch, and a pinch is, let me see if I can show you what a pinch looks like. I reach in the bag carefully. I'm trying not to. When I say a pinch, I mean I'm taking out about this many. Now this is a lot of nails, but it's better than having them all out in case they fall. Okay, so I'm gonna just put those back in. I already took out another pinch. That was just to show you. Okay, so we're ready to get building. I've dropped a couple, so I'm gonna just use those two. So now this piece is ready to go in, so I'm gonna go one from the top and one from the bottom. I did have a question about how many nails we're using per piece. I like to use 2 nails per piece, unless it's a really small piece, and then I use 1 nail. Holding down firmly with these 2 fingers, I'm pushing in from the top. Boom. Boom. And boom. Got it? That's all the way in. Nice. Grabbing another nail. And if we're talking about the nail grabbing, again, we're holding it at a little bit of an angle. Now, I guess it's a 90-degree angle. We're holding it and we're going in just, okay, so I'm rotating it and going up here, pressing firmly down, create some resistance, push in, flush. Nice. Okay, now we have two of our pieces in. I think we could get 1, 2, 3. We could probably get 3 more in right now. Let's go for it. I think we're doing well. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that we're looking more directly at just, there we go. I think that'll be more clear. There. I think that's nice. I'm thinking that that's giving us a better view. Blurry and wobbly. Oh, okay. Well, the good news is it will be posted, and then you won't have to strain your eyes to look at it. I know the screens are a little bit smaller, and then I will upload it at the highest resolution I can, which is just going to be 720, and that's just a limitation of the dot cam. So it should be pretty clear. If you want to watch it on something that's like a television or a tablet, then I think it can scale it up quite well. Okay, so let's continue on here. This one's not a full one, and I'm working my way this direction. So I'm working my way that direction. You can work whichever way you want. That's just what I chose. Not a full one, not a full one, not a full one, not a full one, not a full one. Here's our next full one. Here. Here's our next full one after that. Here. And here's our next full one after that. Here. Okay, so those are 3. We're going to get those all into place right now. So get your sandpaper, sand the bottom. So we're going to pull a little bit right here. Pull just a little bit off. Putting that in. Yep. Just a little, just ever so slightly. And if you try to put it in and it's already going in nice and snug, you don't need to sand it, okay? Sanding it is not an essential part of each placement of each stud, okay? So I'm testing this one again. No. Sanding it again. Boom. Nice. Oh, this is great. Okay, last one. Trying to put it in. Nope, a little too tight. Sand it. Boom, right in there. This one, before I nail it, I'm going to put a spacer. I'm going to just grab 2 leftover wood pieces, and I'm just going to put them in there. And I'm not going to nail them, and they're not the right size yet. They're not the right size for what I need to do, but I can push them over with my pencil. Boom. Okay. And now this one might be a little bit off, but we don't want to flex it too much when we put these other pieces in. Okay, so it looks like we're ready to nail those 3 pieces. So let's get our nail. First nail. I'm holding firmly down with my pointer finger, this one. Pushing up. Boom, we're in there. First I push it while I'm gripping the nail, and then I push the nail from the back like this when it's already in. Okay. You can do it your own way, and there's not one right way to do it. There's many right ways. I'm just trying to tell you what's working very easily for me. I got it in there. Boom. Nice. Next. I like putting in these full ones. They go really quick. It's the same in real life. When you're putting in full pieces, it looks like it's going a lot quicker. Pushing in, following up. Pushing in, pushing down, pushing in. Okay. Holding down, pushing in, up. Holding down, pushing in. Nice, all flush. Okay, so we put in our full length 8-foot studs, and we're ready to work on the next pieces. And the next pieces I like to do in our sequence are here and here. So it's a 4x4 header, and it's the 2x4 sill. And remember, this is, we are doing a 2x4 house, framing that out. And that, that is appropriate in other states that don't have our seismic requirements. Anything that you're going to be working on that's a residential structure will be made with 2x6s. And then because it's 2x6s, then the 4x4 wouldn't match up with that. So then you also need a 4x6 right here. So this we do use 4x6s. So there's a 4x6 down here, but just to be clear, this is a smaller window, and they're only using a 4x4. So it's just different regulations, and the regulations are unique to where you're building the structure. Okay, so I'm going to get this one and this one next. So the header and the sill. I'm going to go into my box of pieces, and I should have a leftover piece of 4x4. Where are you? Okay, I cannot see a leftover piece of 4x4, so I am going to come back to this bundle and zoom out for a second, show you which bundle I'm talking about. It's this one. It's this bundle here. And so we're going to take one of the square pieces, and that's the 4x4 piece. So the proportions are, let me see if I can autofocus on that. No, it's a little too close. No, it's trying to get both things in the frame at the same time. So the 4x4 looks like it has square proportions on the end. I'll cut one and I think I can hold it up at a better angle, but I'm really not able to do that right now. So slide that out. Put your extra pieces back. Oh, no, I found it. I found the piece that I had used. I left it in the box. So this is my piece, and this one's short enough for me to be able to show you. Okay, so that one's going to go here. So I have that in position. I'm holding it, and I'm making my line. And I always make the line just a little bit longer than it needs to be, because I'd rather sand it and get it nice and tight than have this be loose. Okay, I'm going to bring over my little piece to cut on, and I'm going to cut this with the razor blade. Pressing firmly down, I'm rocking it back and forth, and I'm thicker. I actually think this is a lot faster to cut it with that than the saw, so I'm actually preferring the razor blade, although it is, I think, a little bit more dangerous if you're not paying attention. So remember to be careful if you're using that. You can also use the box cutter. I think the box cutter is overall safer than the other razor blade, but it's up to you. Sanding the 4x4 takes a little longer because it's a bigger piece. Boom! Oh, that looks nice. Okay, great fit on that one. We're going to use a piece for the bottom here. So I have an 8-foot piece I'm going to use for the sill. And we're going to come in right there. I'm going to mark it. And then we're going to get going. If you haven't taken some pictures today of what you're working on, make sure you take your pictures. Press firmly down. Nice. Okay, a little bit long. That's nice and snug. So that is looking really great, and we are really getting in the zone here. Let me zoom in for some good nailing. Oops. There we go. And now that I'm done with my 4x4, oh, I think I can show you a little bit better what that looks like. So this is the 4x4 piece that we're using. I think it's in way better focus there because it's lower. And that's what we're putting in there. And when you're done with this other segment that you used, because we only had that other one window from the last 1B, we'll put this back in the box for now. Okay, now I'm going to grab a nail and get to nailing. Aligning with the drawing. I'm going to go in from this side here, push in, follow through. That's one. And I'm going to go with one on the other side. Hold it. This is a little tight. I'm going to go in at an angle. Follow through. So because this one was a little bit in the way, I went down and at an angle to get that. It worked out very well. And we'll have to do an angle for this one also. So let's go here, we're aligned. That nail slipped, I'm gonna pull it out and retry it. There we go. Boom. Okay, nice. Got that edge in. And, uh-oh, I dropped the nail. Oh, I found it. Man, that thing jumped. Okay, this is the last nail that I'm putting in, and then I'm gonna stop the recording, take some questions. We're gonna go from there. Boom, nice. Okay, this is great. This is some great progress. I'm really happy with how that went. And well, it's a really great amount of progress for one day. And yes, this was the easiest part. There was very little cutting. There was just basically some sanding. We'll be popping these out later, right? We'll be popping these out later and replacing them with the appropriate size blocks, but you could leave them in there for now. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.